everybody, and welcome to TUL Music. My name is Salvo. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. And if you like what you watched, you already know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button for the good old algos. And let's get started on today's video. Okay, so we're going back in time to the year 2010. Back to when I started college, and culture was pretty damn wild, honestly. I mean, it was like a whole different universe.
Switch your chit chat. Just show me what you They need an excuse. We can get all I play pretend too. I heard you had a baby. You want a new boy and you?
Yeah, what kind of year was this? I mean, seriously. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So, the real question today, is dubstep dead? Well, we know for a while that it hasn't been as popular as it was in the period between 2010 and 2012, so what the heck happened? Well, let's just see how it came into fruition. It started in the late 90s, early 2000s, yes, that early, in the small boroughs of Brixton, London. It didn't just start from this. Big Apple Records, a small underground dance music shop with a banana skin logo, was pretty much the one tied to a big portion of the genre, as many of the London artists at the time really liked to hang out there. It was also a label to prominent artists in the scene where they would go and toy around with different ideas that tied to the genre and what helped make it. And I think the biggest thing that helped skyrocket it today in the 2010s, Joe Nice was one of the artists at the time, and he found Dub War in 2005, and he would book these big venues. I mean, they were huge. They were like the size of, like, I don't know, filled up a whole building. People would have to stand outside, like it was that crazy. Basically, you could thank Joe Nice for the scene exploding, because it was thanks to him that's basically why dubstep became popular, at least for the brief period here we had in the States. One night the queue was so long, people had to be moved to a room of 1,000 capacity. Like, it was crazy. Anyway, and soon we'd have artists such as Skrillex, Zed's Dead, Schism, Excision, Feed Me, and many others. Many rock artists that would be inspired by this new movement. One in particular. I did enjoy this album, and the features did help me dig deeper into some of the artists they would work with, for better or for worse. There were also artists that made some great remixes of rock songs. Deftones' Prince is one. Bass Nectar used to do some great things. Man, we'll talk about him in a little bit. But Skrillex would later capitalize on the success of dubstep here in the US too. However, Skrillex got a lot of flack for his style being labeled as bro-step when he released Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites. Like, real dubstep fans for the underground were going, this is not really dubstep, this is like bro-step, dude. This is freaking bro-step, dude. 2 years later, he would release his next EP, Bangarang, which featured Sierra on vocals, she did most of the vocals for the album anyway, especially on the two hits, Bangarang and Kyoto. And as I mentioned before, a lot of rock artists were also influenced. One of the few rock artists that were the Doors. And there's an interesting Jim Morrison statement from back in the early 1970s.
I can kind of envision maybe one person with a lot of machines, tapes, and electronic setups, singing or speaking and using machines.
The reason why I wanted to do this video is because I believe dubstep had so much more potential than it actually did achieve. It made music exciting for a small period of time. It got people raging, it got people partying. It was a new thing at the time, and honestly, when it came out, I was not only confused, but I was also really excited because, oh my gosh, we got something that's just basically turning music, pop culture, like it's changing things, and it's innovative, and it just really shows how technology has grown over the years. I mean, it got people hyped during that time, and people that have gotten exposed to it, and they're huge fans of it, you usually see them still going to concerts and small festivals. And so to answer the question, Dubstep's definitely not dead in the live setting. You could still see, like, especially some more, like, drum and bass type artists, some more lo-fi artists, still doing, like, their electronic thing, making the best setup, still using a ton of drum and bass just to get people hyped and turned up. It is basically a tool for the DJ. And, you know, without dubstep concerts, I think these goers may not be as frequent. It really brought life to the dance genre. It brought people together. However, as far as a casual listener goes, dubstep is nearly forgotten about. You still hear it in pop music every now and then, usually from a producer that wants to add, like, more drum and bass to, like, usually with a producer that wants to add more drum and bass. So my question is, what are some of the problems with dubstep? Well, as far as, like, you know, the dubstep songs that came around between the period of 2010 2012, the songs really didn't have any structure. They were really all over the place, and, you know, once you hear the chorus, you already know the rest of the song after you hear the drop. Now, let me highlight something. You know, if you have, like, this verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, that doesn't really work well with dubstep. Like, you've got to keep it interesting enough and infectious enough to keep the artists listening over and over. And honestly, I think one of the few songs that does a really good job of this is Feed Me's one-click headshot. Like, the anticipation goes up. It uses, like, a famous line from some kind of movie or TV show where he's just like, oh, I'm shaking, my hands are shaking, but my heart is pounding, but I'm still getting, you know, it just really adds to the build-up, and it works really, really well. And then the drop comes in, and it's, oh my god, so freaking glorious. I think this is a great example of a good dubstep song that is executed perfectly. You know, I feel like First of the Year Equinox by Skrillex also is executed well, because it gives that call 911 panic, and then all of a sudden, you know, you hear the drop. Now, I'm not really saying that you have to have a movie or TV sample in order to make the song good, because, you know, there are some other underground artists like Terminite. Another one I really like is Drop Goblin. You definitely want to check him out. Porter Robinson also has some songs that are both exhilarating, exciting to listen to, and also have a great drop. And even, you know, songs like Skrillex and Damon Jr. Gong Marley's Make It Bun Them, you know, that doesn't have any drops in it, but it's still a really, really good song. And with the reggae sound, it really works well. So there doesn't really need to be any major drop because it has that reggae tone. And it's just an overall pleasant listen. It doesn't really need a strong drop or TV movie sample or anything out of the ordinary to prove that. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is just make the songs interesting, and they will last quite a few years of popularity. But anyway, no, dubstep is really dead. It mainly stays underground until another artist comes along and reinvents the wheel. You know, a lot of people thought that punk and rock died out because new wave and hair metal were taking it over. And then Nirvana came out and boom, Smells Like Teen Spirit. Now, you know, rock music is now interesting again. A lot of people thought punk was dead, and at least, you know, a lot of people thought punk was dead, but then Green Day came out with the pop-punk genre with Dookie, and punk found its way in the mainstream. But anyway, there are some controversies that came up that didn't really help things, and you might want to hide the kids, or if you're, you know, sensitive to essay-type topics, you know, because some of these artists got caught up in some controversy. In 2018, Datsik was dismissed from the scene after accurate accusations of sexual assault began to surface. And in 2020, I told you we were going to be talking about this guy. Yep, Bass Nectar. He also faced several accusations of sex trafficking and pornography material of minors, and the charges are still ongoing as of this video today here in September 2024. DJ Snails also faced similar allegations. And with these artists abusing their power and fame and doing stuff like this, it's no wonder why genres of music culture have become a bit more on the conservative side. I mean, people still go to concerts and stuff, don't get me wrong. Even though there's still some obstacles, like we had COVID-19 in 2020, and now we have the Ticketmaster controversies going on, all these ticket outlets, you know, overpricing tickets. The biggest thing is don't let anyone's bad intentions ruin what you really enjoy. Dubstep, for what it's worth, is a great genre, and even though there are some bad songs that really have no structure or and or are uninteresting, there are some Reddit pages still helping to keep the genre strong. Heck, the UKF is still releasing material, I think. So definitely check out some of the Reddit pages. I know there's some interesting stuff out. Check out SoundCloud too. I know some people still put out dubstep samples on SoundCloud. It's not just all hip hop. But anyway, this is TUL Music. This is Salvo. Don't forget to like, check out my merch store, support this channel. Most importantly, always dive deep, because you'll never know what your human ears can find. Toodles.